Okay, that's it. That's the journey. And God gives us an eternity. If we're good and decent, upright people, we'll inherit a better world. But we've got to have a pure heart, 100% pure. It's just a determination we make to say, you know what? If I don't need to curse this person, I can absolutely hate the behavior. I can absolutely hate my life in this evil world that Satan's in control of. These deceivers at the very top of the heap, okay? And the method they're using is money. This is it. They would have no power over us if it wasn't for the money. If it wasn't for our fallen state, our stupidity. This is it. I mean, we're cursed. We're a cursed breed at this point. Things aren't the way they were supposed to be. I say I feel like I came here just to explain a few things to people. That's a high and mighty attitude. But, I do. But you think is that a good feeling? I'm better than everybody? No, it's not like that at all. It's like I'm an alien. I feel like, why did I come here when I'm ready to live in a world completely void of money of any type? To be totally free, absolutely free. And everybody around me, too, that I would not be enslaving or oppressing or wanting to. So why am I here? Well, maybe I just missed the mark. God's using me as a vessel. Fine, for whatever he wants to do. I'm here to explain this stuff. But it's not really a good feeling. It's kind of an alien feeling. But it's all very simple. Understanding how we've been duped by money, okay? By the rulers, the masters of the money, the owners of the money printing presses, okay? That's the people I'm talking about. These are Satan worshipers, okay? Intentionally, deliberately, or not, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? They are, okay? That's it. This is the power of this world. And, okay, there's anti-progress being made on this front, okay? So it's by all optics, okay, it looks like things are just going to get worse and worse and worse in perpetuity. But they won't, because the good is stronger than the bad. The light is stronger than the darkness. Right is stronger than wrong. Truth is stronger than lies. And on in that theme. And this is something that we've all got to understand. So, Jesus doesn't say these wild things to no avail. Okay, when he said you must love your enemy and, the right attitude to have toward them, hate the sin and expose the evil, so that these people are humiliated and they, shamed, and they would say, I got to repent. I mean, I can't worry even so much about what man thinks about me. This is about saving my soul, for crying out loud. So that's the mission. How do you love your enemy? You say, be like God. That's what he said. He wants us to imitate him. Okay, and what does he say? I don't delight in the destruction of the wicked. I wish none to perish, but all to come to repentance. So how can we be attractive, magnetic, to pull them out of the darkness and into the light? Because what is written? That all heaven rejoices more over one sinner that repents than 99 righteous people that don't need to. Okay? And we're all sinners to some degree, on some level. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm not. I have a real hard time with it. I mean, I get rebellious. I say, God, you know what? You're letting this happen. You're letting these people be persecuted. You know I have no power in this world. I can't stop this. I can't go and build these people houses. Okay, but I say, let's look at this logically as why don't we have a civilized society in America? Why do we have Section 8, $50 billion a year boondoggle out there, when we could take $10 billion of that and set it aside to actually fix the problem permanently, but we're not. So I see the entire system, the entire establishment is based on illogic. Illogic, that's what it is. It doesn't make any sense. And anybody that tries to defend it and say it makes sense is patently wrong, whether they are aware of it or not. And I could care less. I'm not an I told you so kind of guy. I mean, anybody that, kind of gets a sense of the kind of person I am, I'm a very nice guy. I try to be the nicest guy I've ever met. And it hasn't worked yet. I got a lot of enemies out there, I know, on a spiritual level. And I would like it, to where I live my life where even those people, even my worst enemies, okay, those that, my own self-interests are at stake here, real or perceived. We all go through this. It's hard to accept things, and put down our own faulty beliefs, our delusions, and self-deceit, when our own perceived or real self-interests are at stake. So I know I've got enemies. I've got to have enemies. But even them, I can assuage their concerns by saying, look, the status quo doesn't need to worry. You're going to have servants. You can have all your stuff and more. The difference is that you can enjoy it more. We will keep serving. Rich people keep going to work. Okay? And there's volunteerism. And innovation would be spurred. I mean, look, I'm a landscaper. I do lowly tasks for people, I'll admit, okay? And, from doing those things, it makes the wheels tick, okay? Like an automatic yard pooper scooper picker upper, for example, okay? This is, hey, robotics are at that point already, so, the idea is not far-fetched. Something that could rinse itself off later, and bag detergent. All you do is put the bags in the dispenser, right? And then have this little front loader go out with a little scoop, just like, designed like a dog's poop scooper. So, you understand that all these distasteful jobs that people are doing, all could be automated. We could all be free. That's what I'm saying. That's what we got to get through our heads. But we've got to understand the implications of that. How utterly radical that is. This idea that Donald Trump, is a champion of the poor, wants to end poverty, really cares about people. He's ashamed of homelessness in America. He'd like to see an end to homelessness. Okay, this is beautiful, but it's radical. Why is it so controversial? Like I've stated over and over and over, it would cause mass unemployment. Mass unemployment. Consider all the agencies that depend on poverty continuing, being maintained, and preferably proliferated for job security for these people. Do you understand? It's sick, folks. Even take the fire departments, okay? Back in ancient Rome, we all know, this is where the first false flags, from what I understand, were taking place. Fire being set, put two and two together. The government supporting me here, and it's a paycheck. So, money is the root of all evil. Over and over and again, we see this. This is what makes the wheels of evilness tick. But, we can say things, and Alex has got such a repertoire of words that, I know this guy can come up with stuff that is very powerful, puts these people in their place, and, without using, the hateful kind of slurs. It comes across like that. And I don't hold it against him. I forgive him. I'm not in his seat. I don't want to be. How many guys out there would trade Alex Jones's play? He's really in the hot seat. Probably every bit as much as Donald Trump is, without all the security, okay, that Donald Trump has. But I admire this guy, and I want the best for him. And I don't like his life being in jeopardy. I don't like his spirit being vexed by people that feel self-righteous in hating him. Okay, those invisible vibes, that vexing of the spirit that we know is going on. When they're praying to Satan, or whatever, maybe that they claim to believe in God, whoever. But all of us are falling short. We've all got to admit that we're pathetic, that if God came back tomorrow and Judgment Day was tomorrow, a lot of us are very ill prepared. So I'm just trying to get through to anybody out there that'll listen and say, look, let's work together here. And let's just, come together as a family of humanity above all. Do what Jesus said. Seek to please God above all. So that means being peacemakers. That's what we're told. We're to be peacemakers, for these shall be called sons of God, and sons are daughters too. Humanity is humanity, referred to as man. Mankind is womankind. We're one species. We're God together, not singular. None of us came into this world without the other half. This is God, the way God made it. It's incredibly divine. We debase sex all day with pornography, and, we've all done it, I'm sure, and probably a psychiatrist would tell you, oh, everybody does that, and it's like, it still doesn't make it right. It's like I say, just because something is legal doesn't make it moral. And just because something is moral doesn't make it legal. It is a profound paradox that we all have to contend with. But, God made our procreation to be a very sacred thing, a very sacred act. But everything is corrupted from the original sin, the fall of man, this knowledge of good and evil. And so we got to forgive ourselves. In order to forgive others, we got to forgive others. It's all intertwined. We are inextricably interconnected, like it or not. It's one of those, tough luck stories. That's it. We've got to accept each other. We've got to respect each other. It doesn't mean we have to agree with each other. It doesn't mean we're not going to kill each other. Like Moses killing the mean slave driver, beating his slave. Okay, it doesn't mean we're not going to have fits of temporary insanity like that. And it's going to go off the wall, and that there's not going to be battles where you get a situation like Nazi Germany that we're not going to have to fight. Even as a pacifist, I Believing in something is a lot different from believing something exists. And let me explain that. That's another paradox, okay, that, is in our face, but so often it seems like people aren't understanding these things. These profound paradoxes. Somebody, oh, you believe in UFOs. Like, whoo. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. What does that mean? Essentially, it sounds to me when somebody says you believe in it, it's like, oh, that's your God. You have faith in it. You trust in that thing. But that's not what it means at all. Now, if I say I believe something exists, that entirely separates this idea that I'm worshiping. It's a belief in, it's a faith in something. I trust in that thing. Do you understand? So this is where we all got to understand this thing about violence and being a pacifist. It just means, in my mind, okay, and you can read the dictionary definition, but, I agree with Smedley Butler, the highly decorated Marine Corps general on this subject, is that pacifism these are your fiercest fighters when the chips are down. Why? Because they've held back. They are the most restrained. So they're only going to fight the absolutely most righteous cause. So watch out. When the pacifists pick up, the weapon, watch out, okay? Because I'm sure Moses, because he killed this guy with his bare hands, but Moses was probably a pacifist. He didn't want to do this thing. Who wants to live with having killed somebody? I sure as hell don't, man. Hell, I don't even want to hurt your freaking feelings. I just want to be free. I want everybody to be free. That's it, because that's where my freedom lies, in helping others to understand this stuff. And let's move on and prepare ourselves for what's coming. The return of Jesus, the end of the age. That's what's written. Whether the return of Jesus is a metaphor or not, okay, fine. If it's a metaphor, then let's still prepare for it. What's the world going to look like? Be honest. Okay, use your brain, your God-given brain. Use your imagination. And what's it going to be like? Are we going to have money? How different is it going to be? Anybody that loves money isn't going to be there, right? They're going to hate they're going to hate being there. So it doesn't even have to be an exclusionary God that says you're not worthy to inherit the surface of this renewed earth. It just has to be a God that says, look, well, I'm not going to force you to be somewhere you don't want to be. And if you love money so much that you're not willing to see the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, the fact that we've got to get off the junk, man. We've got to get off the Satan. We've got to get off the false God. We've got to get off the money, this concept. Okay, that's what it is. It's a deceptive concept from its onset, and it's just worked in reverse, okay? Every time. They've got to oppress people. These top rulers, these evil people, these top deceivers, they need oppression. They need poverty, because all the jobs in the social welfare industry depend on poverty. Oppression, that's what it is. To me, poverty, it deliberately induced poverty and forced poverty. Forced poverty is oppression, okay? It's definitely one of the, if not the top interpretations, definitions, the meanings of the term oppression is impoverishment, deliberate impoverishment of people. This is the age-old classic. I mean, we're going back millennia and millennia this crap's been going on. And people, with all the knowledge of the fingertips, right there for all of us to be empowered, but yet we're also ignorant and confused and disempowered by intent, by deliberation, by this same class of people. We don't get it. We don't get the forest for the trees. How crazy this is, and how we should all be outraged, and we should all be traumatized at the idea that they're committing genocide right under our noses through these policies. And they need that. They need people to literally die out in the cold to keep us in the kind of fear, this kind of pseudo-reverence, this perverted reverence that they extract from us, this pound of flesh they're getting from keeping us in fear, because they'll never get those exorbitant rents and mortgages without it. Do you understand what's going on here? What they're doing? I mean, it's even way worse. There's stuff I'm not seeing. You think, oh, this guy's got insight and he sees a lot. There's so much stuff I know is passing me by. I've got blind sides too, but I know they're diabolical beyond all. You could spend all day imagining how cunning they are, crafty and diabolical they are, but you'll never understand it because you're not evil genius. You haven't given yourself over to the dark side and evil. We need God's help. So in a way, I'm angry that God's letting all this stuff happen, and I feel that rebellious spirit in me going out and saying, well, God, better pour your grace out on me. I need it. Here it is again, because, man, I got to escape. I hate my life, and I can't stand it anymore. I want to slit my wrist, God. I want to blast off, man. Why are you letting this happen, God? Where's your power? Where's your glory? Where's your righteous, judgment upon the earth? Stop the genocide of my brothers and sisters out there. Not just in America, all over the world. We could end poverty. Just think, though, there would mass unemployment. This is the madness we're involved in. Mass unemployment. No more dubious war. Okay? No, the crime, the vast majority would overnight would disappear. Understand what an industry that is. The criminal industrial complex, the dubious warfare industrial complex. No more debt. Prosperous, free people don't need to go in debt. Everything is free to them.